Good morning, everyone. Welcome to How to Be the Winning Offer in Today's Market. We're very much excited to share with you this topic with our guest host, Felix. While we wait for a few more people to join, if you would like, we would love if you would let us know where you're logging in from on the chat, and let's start to get the conversation rolling. Also, a few things, just to remind everyone, if there's something that you want to remember or you didn't get the full explanation of it, we are going to be sending all of you a recording of this webinar. And throughout this webinar, if you have any questions, please submit them in the chat box or the questions box, and we will make sure to answer all of them at the end. We do have time set aside for Q&A, and we'll be answering all of your questions. And I see somebody's here from Orange County. Welcome. All right. We'll give it just a minute more. We've got a few more people trickling in. North California. We got a couple people from California, and wonder if anyone's here from is anyone from the East Coast? Oh, Michigan, that's my hometown. Nice. Oh, not my hometown, my home state. Fantastic. All right, well, let's get this ball rolling. I'm gonna pass over the baton to Betty, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about Zentap and what we have in store for you, and introduce our guest hosts.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar. So really quickly, I'm Betty Gavai. I'm the CMO at Zentap, and Zentap provides effective all-in-one automated marketing tools to ensure that real estate agents stand out in today's competitive landscape. So that includes Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn posting, as well as agent websites and lead generation. Through our dashboard, you can create unlimited branded content, local market reports, listing videos, marketing videos, testimonials, and access hundreds of pieces of content. And we also auto post for you. So really excited today to have Felix here. Felix has organically generated over $50 million in sales volume through social media marketing. He's a real estate veteran. And Felix, I will let you introduce yourself as well. Oh, Felix, you're on mute.
Good morning, everybody. So my name is Felix Hung. I go by Felix the Coach. I am 18 years in this great business. I actually started this business in the DC metro area in Virginia, and I moved out to California 12 years ago. And in the last 18 years, it's been a glorious journey of mistakes, and hopefully I can help you avoid some mistakes on how to get your offer accepted. I used to manage two large companies in Orange County, California, and between those two companies, we really got to understand how to get offers accepted. And even my team today, there are some months where we are getting north of 70% of our offers accepted. And this is the greatest market we've ever seen. So right now, we're probably looking at about 60% of our offers accepted. But if you compare that to what you're seeing, it's probably pretty good results. Rachel, are you still sharing your screen, or am I going to share mine?
I just sent the presenter to you.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen?
Yeah, you should have your controls.
Okay, let me go to the presentation here. All right, can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. All right, guys. So there are two main problems in today's real estate market. Number one is, of course, getting listings, and number two is getting your buyer's offers accepted. Can you guys comment in the comment section on how that's going for you guys? Are you guys struggling, and are you guys frustrated with the market today and the hurdles that you have to go through to get your offer accepted? You know, I'm also an admin for Lab Code Agent, so I see a lot of the comments and a lot of the posts scrolling around the frustration of what we have to do to get those offers accepted. So let's get the chat going. Let's see what you guys have to say about what's going on in the market today. And Rachel, if you can help me out, I don't see the responses. So if you see any responses from the audience, could you please read them out to me?
I sure would. Yeah. What do we got here? Grant says all good with an exclamation mark.
Okay.
Other than that, anyone else? Do you have any comments or feedback? All right. I think everyone else is maybe needing some more coffee.
Okay. All right. So before you write your next offer, there's a couple things that I would like you guys to do. The first thing that we want to do is we want to completely read and understand our purchase agreement. So no matter if you're in Michigan or California, New York, Virginia, we need to understand our purchase agreement. So go ahead and read it through. And I know some of you guys have 10-page agreements, 15-page agreements. I know it's a little bit dry, but I need you guys to read it. I need you guys to make a list of things that you don't understand and take it to someone who's helping you, whether that's your mentor, your team leader, your manager, your broker, and get them to explain everything that you don't understand. You're using this as an instrument to protect your buyers in this market. Why don't we understand as professionals everything in the purchase agreement? That's part of the problem. So if you don't understand all the components of your purchase agreement, it's probably also why we're not getting the results we want when we're writing up offers and trying to get them accepted. Okay. The next thing I want you guys to do is fill out a practice offer. So based upon what you have learned in this class, based upon the dialogue that you have with your team leader, your broker, your manager, you got to practice, and it's got to be quick. It's got to be like today or tomorrow quick. Otherwise, you're going to forget what you learned today. So write a practice offer up. Think about a client that you had. Think about yourself if you don't have a client right now, and just write as if you are going to buy a house on the market. Okay. And use the information that you've gathered from myself and your team leader, broker, manager, so that you can write a practice offer. And so the other thing that I think I see with the offices I managed and the agents I've coached and the agents I talked to about why they're losing in this market, it really stems to the beginning. So how many of us actually in our buyer consultations show our purchase agreement to our clients? Can I see? Can you guys comment if you guys are actually showing your purchase agreement to your clients? Who's doing that?
You could all just kind of say yay or nay in the chat, please. Well, while we're waiting for that, Grant said client removing contingencies to be competitive is a challenge. Do you want to address that statement or?
So great, Grant. Thank you for that statement. So it starts with the consultation, right? So even when we discuss whether a buyer should remove contingencies or not, I'm not here to make my clients remove contingencies. I'm here to discuss the market conditions, and I'm here to discuss what they need to do to win in today's marketplace. When you try to convince them to remove contingencies and you haven't talked about it in the beginning of the process, in the buyer consultation, and you haven't set the right expectations, they're going to battle you throughout the whole process. So that we definitely see that. So if you're having issues with convincing, I don't convince any client to do anything, and yet they come up to where the market needs to be. So I want to say that again, because I think that it's really important that it gets through to you guys. I don't ever convince a client to go up in price.
That's good to know. So we have a few people that answered your question. We've got 4 yeses and 1 no.
Okay, so that's fantastic. So the 4 yeses, you guys are in the right place. The no, let's start adding the purchase agreement explanation into our buyer consultation. So let's commit to doing 100% buyer consultations for every single buyer that we meet. And then let's make sure that we're going over the purchase agreement with every single buyer. And then add a slide or add a section to talk about the current market conditions, specifically to what they're looking for in the condo market, in the townhouse market, in the single family, in the luxury market. What's happening? What are the market conditions locally that they're going to face when they start writing offers?
Felix, someone, and I think this is something that comes up a lot, is I don't have time. And she said, I don't have time to do buyer consultations. So we're all pressed for time, but what's your response to that?
If you don't have time to do buyer consultations, you will, you're going to have a lot of issues in your transactions that you face. So either we try to address all of the problems up front, or you're gonna face a lot of problems during the process of working with your client and also into escrow and closing. So I used to say the same exact thing. When I was closing 40 and 50 houses a year in Virginia, I thought, wow, I have no time. I cannot, how, you want me to spend an hour giving a buyer consultation? Why would I do that? But I will reassure you that 95% of the problems that you face during your transaction can be resolved with a buyer consultation, the right buyer consultation. And if you do that, you will actually free up more than an hour during the transaction. I would probably guess that you probably will free up at least 5 hours during the transaction. Think about problems that always come up. So who has a problem where their first-time home buyers freak out when there's a home inspection, for example? Right. This is off topic from getting your buyer's offer accepted, but in our buyer consultation also, we show them a sample home inspection. Why? Because we want them to know that 30 or 40 things wrong with the house is pretty standard in certain marketplaces. They're not going to walk into a resale home and have a perfect home. So if they have that expectation that there are going to be 30 or 40 red marked issues on a home inspection report, they're not going to freak out when they see that they have 20 or 30 on their home inspection report. So again, it's worth the time. Otherwise, you're going to spend half a day convincing your client that 30 things wrong with the house is completely normal in your marketplace.
Yeah.
There was one other comment in regards to this topic, and then let's move, if you want to move on. She said that the market is going so fast, I just kind of explain things as we go along. I don't know if there's anything you want to say about that.
So I used to do that too. That's okay to do that. If you want to piecemeal a buyer consultation together, that's okay. But I still think that a short and sweet 30, 45-minute buyer consultation is still necessary. What we like to do for my team and for my agents is that we like to do a buyer consultation that's at least 30 minutes, and then we are repeating ourselves each step of the process. So if we talk about home inspection, we'll give it in the first initial buyer consultation for 30, 45 minutes, and then we will touch base on it as soon as we open escrow. We'll say, hey, congratulations. Remember that slide we talked about for home inspection? Let's go back there. Remember, it's very standard that there will be 2 or 3 dozen things wrong with this house. And even if it was just built, there could be a dozen things wrong. So we set the expectation again just before they see it again. And that will cut down on a lot of issues. Again, if you guys are getting 60, 70, 80% of your offers accepted first time around and your buyers are listening, there's no problems, then there's nothing to change. But if you're not getting that result, then we have to think, do we need to change the formula to get a different result? So just a couple of reminders. Make sure that your buyers are using their name that matches a valid ID. So William, don't let William write Bill unless William has an ID that has Bill on it. This is what you're going to run into. You're going to run into a problem where the notary goes out a week before you close and the IDs don't match, and then they have to redraw loan docs, and that's going to delay your closing. So let's make sure that we're doing this right up front. What is your legal name that matches a valid ID? That's how I ask, just to make sure that I'm getting the exact correct name, and this doesn't have to be a problem I have to resolve later. Another thing, a lot of purchase agreements that I've seen across the country have the other agent's information. It is common courtesy to fill out the other agent's information, their licensing information, their brokerage information, their address. I know you may say, you know, I don't have time for that. That's annoying, but it's very, if you talk to the listing agents on their side, they really like when you are doing that. I think it's very respectful. You're taking time out, because if you don't, there's probably a compliance person at their company that will have to help them do that. And not everyone has an assistant or a transaction coordinator that will fill that out for them. Sometimes it's them that will fill it out, and they're going to get annoyed if they see that a lot. And also make sure that you fill out the appropriate blanks and check boxes. That's super, super important. And that goes back to, do we understand our purchase agreement? Do we understand all the check boxes and blanks? I know here in California, I see a lot of agents fill out those blanks however they want to. And I'm not sure the last time they took a contract class from our Association of Realtors, and it's just not meant to be that way. You're not supposed to just fill it out how you want to fill it out. And make sure you read the MLS remarks. And that's bold because a lot of the top producers, a lot of the listing agents, they don't feel like most buyer agents are paying attention to the MLS remarks. So if they say certain things in the MLS remarks, you want to touch base on those points when you talk to the listing agent, because it's going to impress them that you read those private MLS or agent remarks. And when do you start building rapport? As soon as you contact the listing agent. And I would recommend that even if you're having some great phone calls with the listing agent, you need to put it in text form. Because here's why. I have probably 20 top producers that close over 30 transactions on my team, and they're so busy, and they're talking to probably 20 to 40 buyers agents any given week. And they may not remember a 5 or 10 minute phone call that they had with you. It doesn't matter how great you sounded. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how great you feel like the connection was or the conversation was. They will probably forget that conversation because they had another 5 of those after that phone call with you. Okay, so that rapport building needs to start at the very beginning of this process. So I normally will purposely text the agent to let them know I'll be showing their property, even if there are services like Showing Time where I schedule the appointment outside of the agent. I will still find their cell phone number and start a relationship as soon as I'm showing the property. And so this is a sample. Hi, Joe. This is Felix from eXp Realty. I will be showing 102 Main Street tomorrow. And I read your agent remarks. I'll make sure I don't let the cats out. And yes, if you guys want to take a screenshot of this, so it says, do any of you send text like, oh, okay, so that's Rachel asking. Yeah, so this literally is the beginning of the process. You're showing the house and you're just letting them know, hi, I'm here. And they may or may not have your number saved, even if they have done a transaction with you, or even if you showed a house of theirs. We don't add every single agent that we come across. You don't add every single agent into your cell phone that you come across until they become a friend, or until maybe you're in a transaction with them. So you can't expect just because you had a conversation with them in the past that they have your information saved. Okay, so you're gonna introduce yourself again. You're gonna tell them some information, and then either during the showing or immediately after the showing, I also purposely text the agent back again. And I say, hey, all done at 102 Main Street. The cats are inside the house. The house is locked up and secure, all good. And then I also will tell them, hey, my clients really, really love the house, and we're going to be sending an offer. But after 18 years in this business, I'm going to tell you that that's not enough rapport building with the listing agent. And I've lost out a lot on a lot of offers early in my career where I told the listing agent I was going to send an offer. And if they don't get that offer in a couple of hours, they think your buyers changed their mind. So you got to keep on that communication. Who has lost an offer because of that? I've lost at least a dozen offers because the listing agent said, hey, I didn't hear from you again. I was working on the offer. It took me 4 hours. I didn't know that I had to keep in touch with you every hour on the hour to let you know that this was real, this was serious, that we were going to submit an offer. But many, many times, the listing agent went with another offer because They thought we changed our minds after a couple hours. So we got to keep in touch with the agent. We got to stay on top of it. And even if a couple hours go by, that could cost you and your client the house. So let's talk about how we should talk to our clients to make sure that even with the buyer consultation, even with talking about the market conditions, how they should be putting their offer together. So this is what I train my brand new agents and also my veterans that are closing upwards of 50 million a year. I say, on a scale 1 to 10, how much do you like this house, Mr. Buyer? 1 being you hate it, and 10 meaning that you must have it, or 10 meaning that you love it. Where are you at? Okay, so we ask this question every single time. And this is the pushback I get from some agents. They say, well, they obviously love it. They want to write an offer. No, we got to get them to verbalize it. We have to get them to verbalize. Yeah, but Felix, they say they love it. Do I have to ask them 1 to 10 still? Yes, it's really important that we still get them to answer this very, very important question on a scale 1 to 10. Because this is what I've learned after 18 years in closing over 400 transactions personally, managing another 2,000 transactions as a manager. If you can't pin them down to how much they like the house, you're not going to be able to pin them down to a high price that they should move forward with. You're not gonna they're not gonna respect you when you give them advice on how to arrange their offer. So this is very, very simple. Just ask them to answer it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if it's a 8 out of 10, so this is how we respond. So this is an 8 out of 10 for you. Well, wouldn't it make sense to put an offer that's an 8 out of 10 offer? So we should put an offer that has at least an 8 out of 10 or 80% chance of getting accepted. Wouldn't you agree, or how's that sound? This dialogue works.
Yeah.
And so here's what you also know as veteran agents. A lot of you guys probably have been in this business a while. If they like it an 8 out of 10 at the beginning of the process, they're going to start mentally moving in, and it's actually a 9 or a 10 for them. They just don't want you to make them offer something that they're uncomfortable with. And so this is a dance, and I'm not here to force them to buy the house. I'm not here to force them into the offer I want to have them offer. This is their choice. They have free will to offer what they want. I'm just here to ask the very tough questions so that they reflect and they really know what is the highest price I'm actually willing to pay for this property. Okay, so let me give you some additional dialogue here, because I'm sensing, I have some Jedi mind skills. I'm sensing that some of you guys are a little stuck there. You're like, well, so how are we supposed to advise our clients on price if you're telling them that they make the choice? Let me go back to that slide for visual. So this is what I tell my agents, and this is what you want to tell your client. Hey, Rachel, I don't want you to offer $850 on this property and regret paying $850. But I also don't want you to regret not paying $850 and losing it. So I don't want you to regret overpaying for this property and hating the property and hating me in the process. I also don't want you to underbid and lose a property and then regret that you did that and hate me in the process either. I take that away from me. I'm not the enemy, guys. I'm not the enemy. Don't shoot the messenger. A lot of times we are stuck in the crossfire there. I take myself out of the crossfire. I say, no. With my 18 years of experience, I'm just letting you know where we need to be at to be one of the finalists. I can't even tell you if we're going to be the best offer. And a lot of times we just have to get into the counter offer phase. Especially here in California, we have a form called the seller multiple counter offer, where a seller can counter multiple offers. Other states don't have that. I was in Virginia. We didn't counter multiple offers. We countered one offer in Virginia. So it was a lot easier to get your offer accepted in Virginia because we didn't have this multiple counter thing that we do in California. In California, you can send counters to everybody. You get 20 offers, you can literally send 20 counters. So it starts getting a little bit crazy. Okay, so again, that's great dialogue if you guys want to write that down. So it's, hey, Rachel, I don't want you to regret overpaying for this house. I also don't want you to regret underpaying for this house. You really need to know what you want to offer and live with those results. If someone's willing to pay $1,000 more than you need to congratulate them. Well, I wouldn't. I would Rachel, you're saying you'd be upset? Well, then we need to offer $1,000 more. And we start stair stepping up to that final price that they need to be at. Okay, but don't jump $50,000 or $100,000 because their mind is not in that space. We need to jump in increments of $5,000 and $10,000, and you're going to see a slide later that talks about that. All right. So I think that helped out with the resistance of how we dialogue with our clients in the beginning. This is exactly how we get to the clients to where they need to be at with the least resistance. And then I say, hey, Rachel, hold that final number because I'm going to do some research. I'm going to talk to the listing agent, gather some information, and get back to you, and then we'll finalize that plan. So I'm not having one phone call with my client. I have a phone call, and then I'm letting them, well, just think about it. But we're not going to make a final decision until I do some reconnaissance. I need to recon and figure out what's going on with that property. Let me talk to the listing agent, and then let me get back to you with what your thoughts are and with what the information I found out from the listing agent. We're going to combine those, and then we're going to have the best offer with the best chance of getting accepted. So these are the 8 questions I teach my agents to ask. This is not an interview or interrogation, guys. So I'm just going to, this is a great slide to take a picture of also. I'm going to go ahead and just read these questions to you, but then I'm going to then role play as if there's a listing agent on the line, and I will role play how this should actually sound. This should not sound like an interrogation, but for some reason, my new agents, when they're starting to do this, they're just rattling off these questions as if it's some kind of interview or interrogation, okay? So number 1, when do you and the seller plan on reviewing offers? So is there a set time and day that you and your client are going to review these offers and move forward with one? Number 2, can you tell me how many offers you have? So depending on your state and the different rules, sometimes they can tell you, sometimes they cannot. In California here, if you have written consent from your client, you can disclose how many offers you have or the price of the offers or both, as long as you have written consent from your seller. It's written in our listing agreement, right? So depending on the state, check with your broker on what's allowed, but we always ask the question. This is also what our association tells us. Hey, it's unethical if they're not allowed to disclose for them to tell you these answers as a listing agent, but it's not unethical, and you should ask these questions if you're a buyer's agent. You should ask, is what the associations tell us, right? So can you tell me how many offers you have? What are the prices? What are the prices of those offers, or what did those offers come in at? And then, are you representing any buyers yourself? And what else do you and the seller want to see in this offer? And number 6 is, what is most important to your client? Is the highest price most important? Is a free rent back the most important? Do they want it to go to carrying owners? What is most important to your client? And number 7, who are your preferred vendors? So I can write them into the offer. And number 8, what would it take to get this off the market tonight? And I can't tell you that number 8 gets us a couple of deals every month. Not a lot. It's not a lot, not an overwhelming amount, but there's a couple times where it works. And we always ask, and that's why it works a couple times a month. So now I'm going to role play. So Rachel, do you mind role playing with me here?
I can role play.
Okay. Oh, Betty. Okay. So, hey, Betty, this is Felix at eXp Realty. When do you and the seller plan on reviewing offers?
We're not sure yet.
Okay. All right. So then I'll keep in touch with you until you have a firm date. I want to make sure that I get the offer in on time, but also I probably don't want to send it in an hour to you. So Betty, can you tell me how many offers you have right now?
A lot.
A lot. So a lot meaning like 5, 10?
Between 5 and 10.
Between 5 and 10. Okay. So you see what I did there. So some of the rookie agents will just say a lot and say, wow, a lot. Sometimes it's over 20, it's over 30. In LA, it could be over 100. So we want to sort of figure out how many offers there are, because this is just like statistics. There's a bell curve, and with 10 offers, I know in this marketplace, there's still 1 or 2 knuckleheads that are not writing for list price. And there's 1 or 2 knuckleheads that are writing for list price. So I know there's at least 6 offers over list price, at least, if not 8, 9, or 10. And that helps me to look at how many offers and know where I need to be at when I'm recommending it to my client. What else am I researching? I'm researching houses in the local area that sold And then I'm using those statistics to talk to my client. And so if Rachel's my client, Betty is a listing agent, I'll say, hey, Rachel, looks like based upon the stats here, these are escalating between 70,000 and 150,000, depending on if it's renovated or not. Not renovated, it's still escalating 70,000, renovated 150. And so this is renovated, so really looks like the cheapest renovated house still sold for $90,000 more. So I think we need to at least be 90,000, if not 150. You get to choose, but let me tell you what you need to think about and consider before you choose if you want to write 90 over list price or 150. I only want to write 50. Well, unfortunately, for all of the properties are selling for 70,000 over. So remember when we needed a 80% chance of getting accepted? We have a 0% chance of getting that accepted. Are you okay with that? I am not pushing them to anything. I'm just asking them tough questions so they realize what's happening. Are they going to get their offer accepted if we know the stats are renovated properties are selling for 90 to 150 over? If they write 50 over? No, they're not. So why are we letting them do that? I'm not forcing them into anything. I'm just really asking them the tough questions. So I want them to really be happy with the result. And I don't care if they lose it. I don't care if they win it. I just want them to be happy with the result. So some people are happy losing because they didn't want to pay that amount of money. And I'm okay with that. But I don't want them to lie to themselves. I don't want them to lose a house that they would have paid more for. That hurts me also. So then let's go back to role playing with Betty. Hey, so Betty, what are the prices they came in at? So 5 different offers. Can you tell me a range in price? So you're listed at 800. Where are the prices at?
Anywhere between 800 to 950.
Okay, 800, 950. Wow. Okay. And can I ask, are you representing buyers yourself? Please say yes.
Yes.
Well, Betty, I hope you double end it. But in case your buyer isn't the right buyer for your seller, I hope you pick our offer. I hope you work with us. This is why you say that, guys. This is really important. If they're going to double end it, they're going to double it in anyways. There's nothing that you can say and do that's going to prevent them from double ending it. I hope you guys realize that. I really hope I'm breaking through to you guys right now. So I've been using this dialogue since 2018, and I can tell you that every single year we get another 6 or 7 chances at second chance offers that fall through because the listing agent's buyer didn't work out, and because we did ridicule them for double ending it, we didn't call them out for being unethical for double ending it. We just let them do it because they're going to do it anyways. They called us back when it fell through. Again, let's think about that. There's nothing you can do to prevent them from double ending it. Make sure you're not making an enemy at that point. Make sure you're making a friend. So we make friends at that point and we say, Betty, I hope you double end it for your family to make more money. That's awesome, right? It's awesome that you have your own buyer for your own listing. But just in case that buyer's not the right offer for your seller, I hope you pick us. I hope to work with you. Okay. And what else do you and the seller want to see in the offer? You want to see a rent back? Okay. So what's most important to your client? Is it the highest price? Is it a free rent back? Is it the terms? Is it closing as soon as possible?
It's closing as soon as possible.
Okay, great. My lender can close in 14 days. Great. And so I'm going to say that, but I'm also going to repeat it in text message. I'm also going to repeat it in my offer letter. I'm going to repeat it multiple times because, again, I know Betty is a top producer in Beverly Hills. I know Betty is probably going to get 50 to 100 calls on that property this week. She may not remember who I am by tomorrow. We have to realize this, guys. We have to realize this. So non-producers say, yeah, but what do you mean? Like, I remember everyone I talked to. Yes, but you don't have the same volume of calls. When I had 40 listings at a time, I would literally get 300 calls a day for the 40 listings. This is like real talk. During the short sale boom, I had anywhere from 20 to 40 listings. When it was 40, I could count on my phone 300 plus calls a day, just a day, from people inquiring about those 40 properties. I could not tell you any of their names. I think I talked to a John. I think I talked to a Rachel. I think I talked to Betty. I don't remember what I talked to them about.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, is some agents maybe don't have as many transactions, so they think that, they take it personally. They think that, I'm memorable, they remembered me. they know what we spoke about, but just reiterating all this information because they may be busy, and it goes a long way.
Make it easy for them to take your offer is what we say. And then we say, who are your preferred vendors? And Betty, what would it take to take this off the market tonight? What is your client's dream offer? I can't guarantee my clients will do that, but what is it? Like, can I ask you to ask your client what their dream offer is, and what would it take to take it off the market tonight? And so some answer and some don't, and that's okay. But we always ask, what can we do to take this off the market tonight? What is that dream offer so that you cancel the open house for this weekend? And some of them tell us what that is, and then we go back to our clients and we deliver the information. We're not saying that our clients are going to take that offer or going to say yes to what they want, but wouldn't you like to know? Because if they also told us how many offers on the table and what the prices are based upon what the seller's looking for, that's very vital information if they tell us.
Yeah.
But Felix, they normally don't tell us. Yeah, I would agree, but we always ask, and sometimes they tell us. So here are the components of your offer. Number one should be a cover letter. That cover letter is basically the body of your email. So you old school agents like me, we used to deal with fax machines. So I remember when I got in this business in 2004, most of our offers were faxed. And so we always I was taught when I was at Remax to write a cover letter on the fax cover letter to detail the details of my offer. And that was lost when we went from cover letter to scanner to emailed offer. So no one does it anymore. And so I thought, why don't we do this? And I've always done it. The last 18 years, every single offer I write has a cover letter. It's called the body of my email now. It literally is from the fax cover letter. So on this cover letter, it should be you talking to the listing agent and the seller and really pitching your client and pitching the strengths of your offer and telling them if there's anything weird about your offer also, or anything super strong about your offer. So it's literally a summary so they don't have to go through a 20 or 30 page packet, okay? So that is the body of your email. And then we've got the buyer approval letter. And if you have a DU, which is desktop underwriting approval, then include it. This is not an opinion about DU. This is just, hey, a lot of agents like it, so you should include it. Number three, your buyer's proof of funds. Make sure they're actual statements. We'll talk about this later, not screenshots. And then your purchase agreement. Now, the order also matters. And so let me go back here. If your buyer is putting a lot of money down or their proof of funds are really strong, so let's say my client's putting 200,000 down. This is actually a real situation. So I had a client in Beverly Hills, and he was a multi-millionaire. And I said, hey, we need to show proof of funds, and we need to show at least $2 million. And he said, I don't have anything that low. I only have 10 million in every single account. And I said, yeah, that's not going to help us. I need something lower. Can you get your bank manager to write a statement that you have at least $2 million in your account? I don't want to show them an account that says 10 million. So if your client is super strong in the money that they hold in their bank, then that should be on top of your offer. If it's not, then it should be the approval letter. And you really need to work with lenders that will really sell your client and their finances and their how qualified they are. Okay, so in your email to listing agent, I know there's a lot of words. This is your cover letter. You want to discuss everything. So literally, these bullet points are bullet points I put in the email. So I put the offer price, I put the loan type, I put how many days to close, I put the deposit that we're paying, and if applicable, I put the FICO scores, and I put all of the contingencies and the timeframes, the good, the bad, the ugly. Everything is on here because I don't want them to have to scan through the offer and potentially miss something. Like, I want them to know exactly what our offer is. And if you're waiving anything, like you're waiving termite or home inspection or appraisal or financing, or it's all cash, you want to make sure that those are really bold and in all caps on your cover letter. And look, guys, there's been a lot of talk this year about love letters from the client and not sending them. I'm not telling you to violate any fair housing. What I'm telling you that is compliant with fair housing is tell them why your client loves the home. Like, what feature stands out to them and why they love the neighborhood. and make sure you don't disclose familial status while you're doing that. But if you focus on the feature or why your client loves a home, you won't get in trouble. Okay, if you want an example of a cover letter template that I personally use and I personally send out to my agents, you could just email me and I will give you a copy of that. My email will be at the end of the presentation. So let's talk about pre-approval, pre-qual letters. So pre-qual letter is literally a letter from a mortgage broker. So they broker loans out to multiple companies, and they can't issue a pre-approval letter because they're not lending their own money. They're brokering through another company. A pre-approval letter is simply that from a bank or a mortgage banker. They're lending their own money. So they can issue what's called a pre-approval. What's the difference, right? Because you guys have heard, hey, pre-qual isn't worth the paper it's written on. I would tell you pre-qual and pre-approval aren't worth the paper they're written on. It's just coming from different sources. So if I know that the mortgage broker has a great reputation of closing deals, I don't care that it's called a pre-qual on top. If I know that the person I talk to is competent and they give me a pre-approval, I'm okay with that too. So just want to make sure you guys understand what a pre-qual and pre-approval are by definition. But this is what you need to look for if you're losing offers in this marketplace. You need to look for lenders that can close quickly. And closing quickly in your marketplace will mean different things. Here in Southern California, it means closing in less than 21 days. 30 days is standard. So if you think that your lender closes quickly because they close in 30 days, that's not fast. It's standard. I have lenders that can close in 8 business days, CFPB compliant. 8 days, 8 business days. So 8 business days is a week and a half. That's as fast as you can close per CFPB guidelines. And then, of course, I use a lender, my number one lender I use could close in 15 days. Doesn't mean that the seller's ready to move out. These are totally separate issues. I'd rather close quickly and get them their money and do a rent back than do a 30-day closing. Okay, so when I'm vetting out my lender, it's got to be someone that will call the listing agent every single time I write an offer and pitch myself and pitch the client. So does your lender call every single listing agent to pitch you and the client? Does that happen?
If that happens to anyone, can you please type that in the questions tab or the chat feature as well so that we can have a conversation about this?
And Janine, you're saying your chat isn't offering it? We see your question, so you could just post in that same area and we see it.
Yeah.
And Rachel, I don't see the polls coming up. I don't see an option there. Is there? Can you still put a poll out there right now?
What percentage of offers? Is that the one?
Yeah, we'll just go down the list.
Okay. I'll launch that one right now. All right. Okay, so everyone should be able to see that on the screen. And if you would please submit your answer, that would be fantastic. Currently, we have 100% for 50 to 80%.
That's what I would have picked.
We got a few more. 21% have voted. Do the rest of you? Let's wait one more minute. Let's see if we can't get up to at least 50% of the attendee voting. All right, we've got 50% of you have voted. So, so Alex, we've got 14%, 80% or more. 50% is the 50% to 80%, and then 10% is 25 to 80%, and 20% is less than 25%.
Got it. Okay, so most of you guys are in very competitive markets like we are. So all of this matters. Like I literally have a lender. Can you guys see my slides again?
We can see your screen.
Okay. So I literally have a lender just for VA because this lender can close a VA loan in 17 days. I literally have an FHA lender just for FHA. I literally have a jumbo lender that can close in 17 to 21 days with a 2-day appraisal. So here are a couple of things that are really important for you and working with your lender. You got to know what they can do. You got to know what are their appraisal turnaround times right now. You should always rush every single appraisal. Always rush every single one in this marketplace. So the question I always ask is not what's your return time for appraisal? I say, Mr. Lender, Miss Lender, if the client rushes the appraisal, how much is that? And how quickly can you get a rushed appraisal back? Because that may be the difference of us getting a counter or not getting a counter, or winning this and not winning this. I need to know that. Okay. And Mr. or Mrs. Lender, will you call the listing agent and pitch my offer? Yes or no? Right. And how quickly can you close? Right. These are all things that we have to really understand with our lender, and we have to work in tandem with them. Okay. Not all proof of funds are created equal. So you guys want to make sure you make this easy for the listing agent. For example, in Southern California, there are a lot of foreign buyers. So if there are foreign buyers, foreign investors, and they're coming in and they're showing euros, I don't want to take the time to translate euros to US dollar. You need to do that. So if they have a bank account from France, I need you to write down what the conversion is from euro to dollar, and then I need you to convert it and circle it on your proof of funds for me. If it's in Japanese yen or Chinese money or whatever it is, I need you to convert that for me. I don't want to have to Google what the conversion rate is. What if I do it wrong? Is that your fault or my fault? Right? And also make sure that the proof of funds are true proof of funds, meaning that they're true bank statements. If you take a screenshot, most listing agents, most veteran agents are not going to take you seriously, because they're thinking, yeah, I can Google and find $1 million screenshot of account right now. I could Google and find that picture. Is this real? They don't know it's real because they don't see that your client's name is on there. They don't see that the account number is on there. They don't see that the address, their address is on there. And some of you guys will say, yeah, but it has their name. Yes, but we don't know if it's yesterday or last year that they had that amount of money in their bank account. The bank statement has the month and year. It's complete. That's what we need to do. And please redact their account number.
That's a good point.
Okay, so let's put the offers package together. So again, stack matters. So first is going to be your proof of funds or your approval letter, whatever is stronger, and then your purchase agreement. Here's the trick, guys. Again, we want to think like a top producing listing agent. You want to have one attachment. You know what pisses them off? If you have like 5 attachments, 6 attachments. There are still some old school agents that will print out every piece of paper that you email them, and they'll present it in person to their clients. Did you guys know that? Yeah, it's still they're still out there. Even if they don't, there's a lot of listing agents that will put all the offers on an Excel spreadsheet so that their client sees all 20 offers and the comparison of all 20 offers. Is it easier for me to go through and really understand your offer if there's one PDF attachment that I'm clicking on, or if there's 5? Is there more room for error if there's 5 that I have to click on and print out and then, take my client? Or is it better to have one? Of course, it's better to have one. Guys, I need to get through this because I still list properties. I still get multiple offers on properties, and sometimes I get 5 and 6 attachments. It doesn't mean I won't take their offer. It just means that what if I don't print something out accidentally? What if you have 6 attachments, I only print out 4 or 5 of them, and I actually don't print out your last attachment? Is that shame on me or shame on you? Well, shame on both of us, but why would you want to put yourself and your clients in that situation? Just send one attachment. And then you go to just smallpdf.com and they'll take everything and combine it into one attachment. I'll give you an example. I want a multiple offer situation in El Dorado Hills, which is in Sacramento metro area. At the time, I was on an international flight coming back from Taiwan. So I was literally 5 hours from landing. I think it was like 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm on a plane, I'm about to land. And I said, oh my gosh, I got to send this offer out, because if I don't, 5, 10 more offers will come in behind me. But the Wi-Fi won't let me send one package, won't let me send one attachment. The Wi-Fi is awful. So it took me 45 minutes to load 4 attachments, and I had to profusely apologize in my email for sending 4 attachments. And I explained to the agent on how I was on a plane and there's 4 attachments, and please click on all 4. And I was profusely apologizing because I know how it feels to get 20 or 30 offers and have to click through 4 or 5 attachments in every single offer. So oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, did you want to launch the poll about how many offers are accepted?
Sure, let's launch that one.
Okay. So here we go. If you all want to submit your answers to this real quickly, and we'll continue talking about this. All right, can get a couple people here. Let a few more people vote. All right. And got just a second more here. 29% of you have voted. All right, fantastic. So here's the results for that poll.
All right, so looks like half the group is on target and half the group we could do some improvement here. So what my team is seeing is we're seeing that we're getting someone into escrow within 3 offers. Like that is worst case in most cases, unless maybe they've got some weaker financing like FH or VA. We're getting them into their house within 3 offers. If you're taking more than 3, we probably need to look at that and revise it. Yes, there are some people that don't qualify as much compared to other offers, and there are ways that we can strengthen their offer. If you're dealing with someone with the VA or FHA, I do tell them that it'll probably take us 6 or 7 offers to get one accepted. I say that, and sometimes it does, and sometimes I'm able to get their offer accepted by the 2nd, 3rd, 4th offer still, and they're impressed. But I set the right expectation. If they're VA and they can't remove the appraisal contingency and they just want to write for the list price, I tell them it's going to take us forever. If they're willing to write over list price, they're VA, I would maybe tell them, wow, it'll still take us 10 offers before we probably get one accepted. And I let them deal with the emotions of that now instead of in that moment when they're actually competing with 10 offers. That actually helps them to prepare and process that a lot better. So here's a top secret. So you see how we put everything into one PDF? Well, your next step is to upload that PDF into Google Docs. Step 1, one PDF. Step 2, upload that one PDF into Google Docs. Make sure you name it something like offer for 102 Main Street. Let's open escrow, or winning offer for 102 Main Street if you really feel like you're writing a really, really, really strong offer. Okay, so you upload the document into Google Docs. Now you take that really crazy URL, double click in your address bar, go to bit.ly and stick that crazy Google Docs URL into bit.ly and then shorten it. And take that bit.ly link and send a text message to the listing agent with your whole offer by text. Yeah. Now, some of you guys will say, yeah, I can just push the PDF by iPhone if they have an iPhone. I get that, but not everyone has an iPhone. So what about the Android people, right? So I don't know if they're going to show up green or blue on my phone before I message them. So I like this. It's really easy. They can just access it through the link, and they can go right into Google Docs and see my whole offer right from their cell phone. And if the conversation was there, right, you're building rapport through text, it's actually better there than actually sending their email because they don't have a chain of emails with you building rapport with them. Okay, so this really, really is effective because it's a lot. You're probably going to get the listing agent to look at your offer and respond and give you feedback quicker than if you email them.
Yeah, and I think more than anything, it stands out. One thing I would just mention, if you're going to do the Google Doc route, and I've made this mistake, make sure that it's shareable so that when they click on it, they're able to access it and they don't go to a restricted page and then say they can't see it, because that'll just make you look unprofessional. So make sure it's a link that's shareable.
Yes, so test the link. So make sure you have someone else test the link. Of course, if you click on it and you're logged into your Gmail account, it's always going to open. You cannot test the link. You need somebody else to test the link, okay? So if you don't have anyone else that's available to test the link, really easy, just open up a new browser. Make sure you're not logged into your Gmail account, and then just throw it into another browser. So I have a MacBook, so I normally use Chrome, but I would throw it into Safari and see if it opens, for example. Okay. So what makes your offer stand out? A super quick closing is, I think, the main thing. And even if the agent says, well, the seller doesn't need a quick closing, I will sell them on the fact that it's better without sounding like a salesperson. So Betty, I understand that your client prefers a 30-day closing, but I also know that you guys are looking for a replacement home. And let me tell you, it's a really tough market out there, just as you know. Let me help you become stronger. How about we just close in 15 days, because my lender can close in 15 days. And we can have the money in the bank for your client in 15 days so that they can go out and they can find their replacement home faster. The money's already in the bank. And I would sell them on a quicker closing. Also, having really short contingency periods and understanding that. And because we have people from all different states, I'm not really going to go over that. I'm going to just tell you, understand contingency periods, understand what are the norm for this marketplace, and understand what's really expected in this marketplace there. So talk to the top producers in your office, talk to your broker, your manager, your team leader about how that looks for your current market. Removing contingencies up front. So in LA County, LA is one of the hottest markets in the nation. Some people have to remove contingencies right up front. And that would include also Inland Empire and Orange County down here in Southern California. How is it in your market, right? But removing contingencies up front is something that we see still in this marketplace today. A non-refundable deposit. Yeah, there's some people that will do a non-refundable deposit. Their clients are so sure that they love this house and they will close no matter what they're going to find in the inspection report, they will offer the seller a non-refundable deposit right up front to take their offer. And that would help you win with a lower price point also. But again, this comes with dangers, and you guys have to also understand the dangers of doing these things. A free rent back for the seller. So there are some people that are cash poor. Did you know that not all sellers have loads and loads of cash on hand in their account? Sometimes they have a lot of equity in their property. So a free rent back, if they don't have to pay 2 months of mortgage, that could be $6,000 to $10,000 for them that they could keep in their bank account. That's a big deal for them. All their equity could be tied up in their house. So structuring your offer in a way where you give a free rent back is huge. We hear that a lot from a lot of sellers. We want a free rent back. Escalation clause, if they're allowed in your state, could be a great way to shine and get your offer accepted. Having the buyer pay for fees that the seller normally pays for, including your commission, could be a way to stand out. And you are going to see, just like we're starting to see, that a lot of people are moving towards that direction. Like you're going to start seeing really low commissions, like 1%, 1.5%. And what the listing agent's saying is, hey, if you want to get paid more, you got to go to your buyer and make up the difference in the commission. Ask your buyer for it. And that's because Sherman Antitrust. This is not a discussion about commission, so that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to open up a can. You also may want to pre-schedule your home inspection. So what I normally do is if Betty's my listing agent, I'm going to say, hey, Betty, let's open escrow. I already have ABC home inspection company lined up for tomorrow morning. I've got the 9 o'clock slot if you guys accept our offer today. No pressure. I'm just letting you know I'm on top of the ball and we're ready to go. So pre-schedule a home inspection. It doesn't cost you anything probably to cancel with your vendor. Most don't have a cancellation fee. Get it set up so you're lined up to not only impress the listing agent, but also to get things lined up for your client. You're not scrambling after it's accepted. Also, ask to present your offer directly to the listing agent and the seller on Zoom or in person. Old school, back in 2004, we literally would sit at a table and we would present to the listing agent at their office. And sometimes the client would come in and sit down with us also. That's old school. And it still works today. Okay, so let's talk about a technique that I saw. This is literally from Tom Ferry, TF. You see that I'm gonna give Tom Ferry credit because this is literally from Tom Ferry. And I really like this, and I think that it's a really simple way of helping you guys to get your clients to that max price point that they're willing to pay. And we can you can screenshot the next slide that'll give you the dialogue. So you want to start with your buyer's current offer. So based upon our scenario previously, it's 800,000. So let's say they want to come in at list price 800,000. You increase it by $5,000 or $10,000, and you ask, if they would be willing to lose it if someone else offered 810. Rachel, would you be willing to lose 102 Main Street in Westwood if someone offered 810? No, I'd offer that. Okay, all right. So what about 820? Would you be willing to lose this house at 820? And you keep climbing until they actually say, no, that's my highest price. Because look, guys, like you have to get them to actually think emotionally about how that number feels in connection with their emotions about the house. Okay, so this is a dialogue. If you guys want to take a snapshot picture of this, I think this was great. I don't do it this way, but we still get to the same result. We still basically tell the client, hey, if someone was willing to offer $1 more, where do you want to be at? Because we have one shot at this. Okay, so I'm not going to read through this dialogue, but it stair steps someone up from 450 all the way up to 481.
And just a reminder, if you forgot to take a screenshot of this or are having difficulties, you will be able to reference this when we send you the recording.
There you go. So give you guys a couple more seconds here before we move forward. All right, so communication with the listing agent. This is a really big deal. So if we have listing agents on the call, I would love your feedback and comments in the chat here. But this is what I know from talking to my top producers, from being a listing agent myself and networking with a lot of top producers out there. Nobody wants to work with the person that calls them 20 times a day. You're not actually calling them 20 times a day. You may call them 5 or 6 or 7 times a day, and that's enough to overwhelm them. And they don't really want 45 days of that. So yes, you may be the buyer's agent that has no other transactions, but if you overwhelm the agent with communication, that normally doesn't work in your favor. So don't be the chatterbug that calls them 10 times a day for every small issue. They're going to say, wow, I really don't want 30 or 45 days of this over communication. There's an approximate communication that you should have. Also, you cannot be the agent that doesn't communicate at all with them. If you don't ever call, text me, and then I get an email from you with an offer, it's really, really easy to say no to you. I have no relationship at all to you. So if your offer looks exactly like somebody else's, wow, why would I even spend time on yours? Because I have a relationship with the other person. They actually called me. They actually told me what their strengths of their offer are. I never had any contact with you. You're the riskier offer for my client. So there's an appropriate communication. Make sure you are building rapport with the agent on every single phone call, and make sure you're not getting to that point of being annoying to them. Because if you get to that point, that's the point of no return. You actually hurt your client's chance of getting an offer if you get into that annoying zone.
Can I add one more thing here? Because
Sure.
I'm not an agent, but this happened to us personally, is even if the home ends up going in escrow, you still want to maintain some level of communication because it could fall out. And you want to express that your client is still interested in the home, or maybe like submit a backup offer if that's an option as well.
Yes. Did you guys know, at least in Southern California, that around 22% of offers fall through? So you have a 1 in 5 or 1 in 4 chance of that first offer not going through. So if you keep in touch with the listing agent, there is a chance that it could fall back on the market. Okay, here's another thing. Send the listing agent a video text congratulating them on the listing and letting them know you are going to be writing an offer. And remember, every couple hours, you got to keep in touch with them, because there are so many listing agents that will think that your client is no longer interested if you don't talk to them for a day. Literally, it just takes one day, and they think that you're no longer interested. So you got to keep in touch with them every 2 to 4 hours, and just saying, just so you know, we are still writing an offer, and this is when I'm going to get with my client, and this is when we're going to write it up, just so they know. You want to give them a play-by-play there. That's not over communicating, because I'm not calling them. I'm just going to send them a text message saying, I'm getting to my office and I'm meeting the client at 6 p.m. Well, we should have something to you by 8 or 9 tonight. And then at 6, I'm going to tell them, hey, yeah, should still be at 8 or 9 tonight. I'll have that offer to you. If you guys have track record, like if someone is really impresses me on the buyer's agent side, I say, hey, you could use me as a reference. Like I will help you try to get your offer accepted on the I will give you basically a testimonial to the listing agent if I know them, or even if I don't, letting them know how professional you are. If you can collect basically testimonials from other agents on your professionalism, this really works well. And we also do this informally. So how do we do this informally? I look at our common friends on Facebook, and I'll go through common friends and say, hey, how do you know Betty? How do you know Rachel? And we have a dialogue there, and I'll say, Betty and Rachel can vouch for how I close and how I do business, and those are former clients, or those are agents that I've had transactions with. So they're friends of yours. Talk to Rachel and Betty. They're gonna vouch for me. So should we put an offer deadline? I would tell you no in most cases. So the only time that you should put an offer deadline is when you feel like you have the upper hand in negotiations. But a lot of agents will put a deadline when they don't have the upper hand in negotiations, and it makes the listing agent the listing agents feel like you're petty for doing that, and you don't understand the current market, and it actually makes them not really want to work with you. It makes them feel like you don't understand what is happening in the marketplace, right? So I'll give you an example of when not to do it, and potentially when to do it. First scenario is when not to do it. So first week on the market, the listing agent is telling you that they're reviewing offers on Tuesday, and it's Friday, and they have an open house Saturday and Sunday, and you write for list price and you write a deadline that it expires Saturday morning. That's not going to fly. You have no leverage there. You got no leverage at all. It's not going to fly. Why are we putting a deadline? They're literally going to look at you like you're crazy, and you don't want that thought going through their head when they're reviewing offers with the seller. Say another example. The house has been on the market 2 or 3 weeks, no offers. We're going to write a deadline. Hey, 24-hour deadline. Give us an answer. You haven't worked with anything in the last week or two. So if they've had their first open house, right, their grand opening open house, they've already got that out of the way, it's been crickets, there's no offers. Hey, great, let's write a deadline in there then. That's a great time to write an offer or a deadline. So I'll let you guys screenshot this. I'm really just going to open up to questions now, but why are you losing why is your buyer losing their offers? Because simply you're not the strongest offer. Your rapport with the listing agent may not make them feel comfortable. If you guys are similar to other offers, the highest offers, then someone else probably built more rapport than you did. Maybe your timeframes are larger, maybe your financing is weaker, maybe you have contingencies, maybe your offer isn't written well, maybe the dialogue was weak. Maybe your personal biases are getting in the way. I saw this happen at the beginning of the pandemic. A lot of agents said, wow, I wouldn't pay that, so I don't want my client to pay it. Whoa, I don't ever choose for my client. I tell them what they need to do to win the offer, and I let them make a decision on their life. It's their life. And so of course, if they tell me something like them getting relocated in 2 years, I probably don't want them overpaying $100,000 for a house that they're going to probably sell or move out of in 2 years. But I don't let my personal opinion about pricing or the market get in the way. Well, I wouldn't pay that. That's what I heard a lot of agents say. So I don't want my client to pay it. And those are the agents that are not getting any of their clients into houses. Then I guess you're just going to not do business until you believe in the market and the pricing. So our clients aren't realistic about market conditions. I see that a lot. Our clients can't compete with the market conditions. I see that a lot. And then you're not presenting or selling the strengths of your offer the right way.
Someone else asked, how do you address escalation clauses?
Can they expand on that question? So I'm not really.
Can you expand on that, please? Okay, we can go on and then address this at the end when he chimes in.
Perfect. If you guys are losing offers, I would ask that you guys get a fresh perspective, because you're probably doing the same thing and making the same mistakes over and over again, because we could be a little bit emotional there. So let's get an outside fresh perspective from someone like a team leader, a manager, a broker, another top producer in your office, just so that maybe you're missing something. You're thinking that you're doing everything that I've taught in this class, but maybe you're missing something. So maybe they actually need to look at your offer and point it out to you. Go back and gauge your rapport that you built with the listing agent. If you don't have text rapport, it's not real rapport. I'll tell you that in person is best, phone is best rapport. So I would tell you that phone time is better than text time. But normally what I do is I'll get Betty on the phone, I'll build great rapport with Betty on the phone, and then I'll summarize and send Betty a text after, because I still need to build rapport through text so that Betty remembers me through the vast sea of agents that she's going to talk to this week. So yes, the phone is more powerful than text when you're building rapport. I totally agree. But I still need that track record through text, so that when Betty sees my name or sees my number come across her phone, she says, oh, hey, that's that impressive agent. I want to pick up that phone call. I want to call him back. Shrink your time frames and make sure that your team can abide by those time frames, or you may have to get a different team. If your lender is taking 45, 50 days to close escrow, you need to find a new lender in this market. Maybe in a different market, you can get that through. Or maybe if the seller is okay with the 45-day escrow, you can get that through. In most cases, you're not going to get that through. In most cases, removing contingencies, you may have to remove some. I just had a case where we advised the client to remove appraisal contingency. And so she was putting 30% down for a 20% down mortgage product. So if you guys understand loans, there's no way that the house is going to underappraise 10%. So I said, hey, you really like the house. You really believe in the sales price of, I think it was like 1.1 million. You really believe in that, right? You believe, you look at the other houses and they're selling for right around that range. So let's do this. It's 100% safe to remove appraisal contingency. It doesn't make a difference in your financing. You're going to literally put the same exact down payment of 30%. And you already believe in the price. You already see that it's justified by the comps. Let's do that. And that's what won us offers versus 10 other offers just yesterday. But understanding financing is needed to have that high level conversation with them to let them know, well, you're 10% over the 20% loan product. So even if it comes 5% low in appraisal, your 10% over covers that. So there's no different. We don't have to do anything different. Look for stronger financing. Consider removing appraisal contingency or using a cap. It's called covering appraisal gap coverage in some areas, right? Consider an escalation clause. Present the information to the client. Let them make a decision, though. You let the clients make a decision. I do not like pressuring my client. I do not like making them do something they don't want to do. I want to go sleep at night knowing that they made the decision, not me. I'm there for advice, but I ask them really tough questions that they have to really address, and that's the difference.
Fantastic. Felix, I'm going to go ahead and take over the presenter controls.
Okay.
Well. Oh my gosh.
So Felix, back to that question, Grant had said, what do you do if your client wants an escalation clause? What do you say?
What do you do when your client wants an escalation clause? Then you write one up and you write the verbiage best. I'm going to tell you that if the client really wants an escalation clause, what they need to understand is that they're probably not going to win it for $1,000 over the next highest offer. That's pretty petty. So we had escalation clauses built in Virginia to our sales contract. Like we had a form that was escalation clause in Virginia. And what the listing agents and sellers thought about that was, wow, you incrementally went up $100 or $500. I'm not going to take your escalation clause just because you beat out the next highest offer by $100 or $500. It really doesn't make a difference to me. So if you're going to use escalation clause, we need to consult the client to understand that it still needs to be an overwhelming offer where they feel like, wow, these people really love the house. And the connection is this. The listing agent will always go for the highest and best offer they believe will close. And so what will close is the people that love the house. And so we always have to go back to how much do they want the house? Those are the people that are going to be most solid in closing. if you're going to use the escalation clause, make sure you're using increments of $5,000 or $10,000 in most market areas. Just like in California, in $1 million or $2-3 million price range, your escalation clause may be 50,000 over the next highest offer. If we're using 1,000 in Beverly Hills, they're going to laugh at you. They're going to say, what? Even 10,000 may be laughable in some market areas in LA for an escalation clause. I don't need an extra $10,000. I need an extra 50. So we got to understand the market and the price range, and making sure that that is relating to what we're doing in the offer process. So if your client wants it, I would say, sure, I'll put it together, but I need to let you know that $1,000 over the next highest offer is probably not going to do it, and that's probably going to seem petty to the seller. And we want to make sure that if we're going to use this, they're going to really love our offer. So I would recommend in most markets at least 5,000 or 10,000. So let's do 5,000 increments. So 5,000 over the last offer. How about that? And some markets it could take more.
Okay, thank you. I'm very impressed by the fact that every single person who attended this webinar is still on. So this information, it seems like, has been really on point, because we haven't lost anyone throughout this webinar, even though we've gone over the hour. So great job, Felix. Thank you.
Yeah, I love talking about this topic because, guys, reach out to me if you guys are struggling, if you guys cannot go to your team leader or your manager or your broker. This is an efficiency issue. Don't take your buyer back out to look at 50 other properties and write 20 other offers. That doesn't make sense. Let's get them into the dream home that they want. And look, guys, let me get you mentally over the fact that they're overpaying. If they live there 10 years and they create a lot of memories in that home, they're not going to remember overpaying. They're not going to care about overpaying. I've helped a lot of people overpay for their houses, and they love me. And they love the memories that they create. They love that they make more money in those houses because they're happy they got the house that they love. These are intangibles. These are intangibles that they think about when they move in.
And the equity they build over the long term in the home as well.
Yes, as long as they're going to live there for a good period of time, they will recoup what they're overpaying. And so this is my friend Kyle Whistle said this, and I really was impressed with this. He said, do your clients want to compete with the house that everybody wants, or the house that nobody wants? Because you're probably going to get that same reaction when they sell that house. So when they sell that house, do they want nobody showing up to the open house, or do they want 200 people showing up to the open house? So they'll probably get multiple offers when they sell that eventually.
Agreed.
Any more questions, guys, I can help out with?
No, looks like we covered them, I think. One more minute.
There's actually 3 questions here that I saved. So there was one person who said, do you delete the contact after the escrow is closed? Grant had asked that question earlier.
I don't, because I don't have enough time in my day to scan through my text messages and delete the information. I keep everything there. It depends on if I felt like I had a connection with that agent on whether I save their information onto my cell phone or not, if I save their name, but I don't go back and delete the text messages. Who knows, maybe I need those text messages later in a potential legal proceeding. So I keep all that stuff there. I may or may not save their name into my phone though.
Then we have another question. When Tamika asked, when I ask listing agents what the prices came in at, they don't answer me or ignore me. How do you go about making them comfortable with discussing those things with you?
I love this question, Tamika. So I'm glad you asked this. So it's you want to be funny and personable. I'll role play with Betty again on this. So Betty's going to tell me this time, I can't tell you, or we're not disclosing the price of the offers. Hey, Betty, so what are the prices of the offers that you have?
You know, I really am not at liberty to disclose that.
So let's imagine I'm on the phone here. So I'm actually going to take my camera off so you guys can imagine how this actually feels on the phone. Betty, I totally understand that. I just don't want to waste your time or my time. I want to give you a great offer, and I want to be the winning offer. So again, Betty also is on the phone, right? So we're not, I don't see Betty. So I'm gonna say something like, Betty, blink twice if it's over 850. I think I saw you blink, Betty. So imagine this on the phone, right? So they're like, we're on the phone, you can't see me blinking. And I'll say, okay, I'll come in over 850. How's that sound, Betty? And so I'm trying to get her to laugh or break that wall that she's putting up to get her to flinch. So we're on the phone. I can't see if she's blinking or not. I'm just trying to get her to lighten up and maybe give me a sign on where the offers are at. So oh, okay. I don't think you blinked at 850. I think, oh, I need to be at 875. 875. Oh, now I'm seeing you blink, right? I don't see her blinking. I get them to laugh, and when they laugh, they'll say, yeah, I hope you're the winning offer. I like you, or something like that. I'm like, cool. Like, I'll send it in. We'll see what we can do. And then we go from there. But you want to be playful. It's not confrontational. You cannot go confrontational. It's just not going to work. So the only angle you can go is, hey, I don't want to waste your time or mine. My clients really love the house. Like, they love it. They're going to do whatever it takes. Like, do I just need to send you a blank offer for you to write in the price that you guys want? Like, you gotta see what kind of other angles you can go at to get them to open up. But sometimes if they're just a stone wall, they're not going to open up. Or if they're liars, they're not going to open up. So there are some liars out there, right? Hey, just keeping it real. There's some liar listing agents that will double end it, and they won't tell you they have buyers, which is unethical. They're supposed to let you know if they have a buyer for their property, but they won't. And then they'll stonewall you, not give you any information about it, and then they'll just double end it, and you're like, wow, what a jerk. They didn't have any buyers, or they said they didn't, or they avoided that question. They didn't give me any information, and they probably use that to walk their buyers to the front of the line, and to the detriment of their seller also. Wow. But it happens, right? But I would hope that most agents are not that way, and we see that most agents are not that way. We rarely come across that unethical agent. There are those agents out there. We do come across them very rarely.
We have one more question. It says, from Janine or Jenny, I had one lender call when an offer was presented on my listing. Only once this year has a lender called me.
So Jenny, this is what we do, which would probably impress you. So if you saw my offer package, Jenny, I bet you would be impressed. I bet even if you were in the business 20 or 30 years, it would probably be one of the best offer packages you receive. This is the compliments that we get back from agents. We do this every single time consistently. It takes extra time. It takes extra time. It takes an extra couple hours, just like the buyer consultation takes an extra hour. We do all of these things because if you were my buyer's agent, Jenny, I would make sure that I'm pulling out all of the stops to make sure that you and your family's offer gets accepted. So instead of waiting until the offer review process, we have the lenders call when the offer hits their email inbox. That's the difference. We don't, because if the lender is not available at 5, 6, 7 p.m. when you're presenting to your seller, we probably lost the moment there that we could take advantage of. So instead of doing that, why don't we just have them call at the point when they receive the offer? So bam, email hits your inbox, Jenny. Imagine that my lender was on the phone with you within a minute saying, hey, Jenny, this is Felix Hung's lender. Yeah, he's great. He closes 200 or 300 homes a year. His team closes about 500 homes a year. He's amazing. He's going to get this close. He rarely falls out of escrow. We haven't had anything fall out last year. Wow, thank you so much. And so imagine what you think about that lender. Wow, I want to work with that lender because that lender is going to be proactive in giving me updates throughout the transaction. Not the lender that says, well, I'll pick up my phone, the listing agent calls me. That's a bunch of crap. I don't work with lenders that say, I'll pick up if the listing agent calls me. I'll say, then you're fired right now. I'll find another lender.
Good. It's good advice.
I love that.
Fantastic. That's all the questions we have. I just want to say, Felix, thank you so very much for joining us. And I hope everyone, it seems like everyone that attended did, because like Betty was saying, even though we went over, everyone's attended throughout the whole entire thing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much Felix. If anyone has any other questions for Felix, feel free to email him. If anyone wants to learn more about Zentap, you can visit the link on this slide or email us, sales@zentap.com. Mention this webinar, get a free walkthrough and even a free trial of our product. I'm happy to help you guys.
Yes, thank you. And just a
Thanks for having
reminder,
me, guys.
yes, thank you. And just a reminder, you all will be receiving a recording of this. So thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye, guys.
Bye, thank you.